Hello, everyone. We are back in a new session with the ARK project where we build a simple, standardized .NET MAUI mobile app to kind of give people ideas about random acts of kindness or acts of random kindness on daily basis. The application is mainly intended to be open source. It's meant to be educational, but it's actually meant to kind of roll out a full end-to-end mobile app being developed out there in public and following the best engineering practices like test-driven development, standardization, how to roll out things to the Apple Store and the Google Store and all of that stuff is there. Last time we basically, well, first, Zafar, welcome aboard. And I don't know where Abdul Samad is. He's still dealing with some technical difficulties. So we'll just kind of have him kind of join in, and once he's ready. We took a little bit of a break last week, but here we are. We're back on track, and just for software engineers, just the importance of kind of having an architecture is that if you're working on multiple projects, let's say we were working on 3, 4 projects at the same time. Let's say you have a project at work and then a project that you're building with a bunch of friends, and then there's the personal project of yours that you're actually developing. The one thing that will keep you on track and help you kind of remember where you were is architecture, right? So when we develop architecture components like these, I'm going to show you here real quick. It kind of helps you pick up where you left off, especially like slow pace kind of projects like this one, right? This is a project that it's like a hangout, right? We'll hang out with a bunch of friends and just see what things are gonna look like that week. This is the architecture. This kind of helps us kind of pick up where we left off and see, what's the next step to do. And if you're following us in the previous sessions, you'll see that we developed a lot of components that basically, like all of the components that's needed to kind of visualize a nice loading screen to kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse of that screen, what that screen would look like. Let me kind of run the application. Usually we keep the top root, component of the UI to render our progress, like all the combined progress together. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today. So I'm just going to run the app real quick and kind of show you where we were. That's exactly where we were. Take a look. Here it is. Let me kind of minimize this screen a little bit so everyone can see. This is how far we went. Look how beautiful this is, right? So we had an actual loading screen with the preparing something and the little pulse at the bottom and all that fun stuff. This is all kind of part of, making an application kind of run. But today we have to put it all together, basically. Like we have to put it all into one component, kind of containerize it together. And if you look at the architecture that we had for this project, we basically said we're going to break out these components and then eventually something is going to tie them all together. We're going to call it loading orchestration component. Yeah, we do apply the same principles of the standard, to, normal services like foundation services, processing services, as well as UI components like these. So let's start with that, Zafar, and then whenever Abdul Samad is ready, he can pick up. Okay, so let me kind of initialize the thing, right? So what we know for a fact today, just from that little POC that we have, I'm going to create a new branch here. So there's a new branch, users. Let's do this, users, Hassan Habib, orchestrations, and then loading component. So components dash orchestrations dash loading, basically. Or yeah. Mm,
I think last time we did a small mistake with the
mm,
previous component. I have
mm,
noticed.
mm.
So we didn't wrap like what was that? If you go back to the loading dots component, for example,
Yeah, let's take a
we
look.
didn't wrap the whole component into a one division. So
Oh,
in this orchestration one, if you wanna do display flex and play with the components, it's gonna impact to the childs as well.
uh-huh.
So as you can see,
This guy here.
yeah,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
yeah, we should wrap it into a division base.
Well, that should be an easy one. So when we have something like this, we can basically say users, Hassan, Habib, and then minor components, right? And
Yeah.
then loading dots wrapper, right? So I'm gonna go here and basically do that. Let's do it in a so we need a division that wraps up all of these basically,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, we can do that. So let's first start with adding a division base in here. Let's go all the way to, so there is dots container division. This, where's this dots can, oh, this guy right here. Okay. So I'm gonna create one that's called prop division base, and then dots loader container, right? So dots loader container division. It might be a good name for this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Right? Or dots container wrapper. No, dots loader container is fine. I think that's okay. So we're just adding this guy, and then we're just gonna follow the usual process. So I'm gonna go into components, and then under components there's loading dots, and then in the render I'm just gonna add a new one in here. So this is
Yep.
large header component style division 123. There you go, initial loading component, and then dots loader container should be null. Hey, Abdul Samad, all good? Still
Yep.
alive? Okay, all right,
Yep.
good. So now let's run this Control RT. This should pass because it's basically saying don't default to anything. Let's do that. So it'll be just another standardization kind of thing. Remember last time we talked about the order of components to
Yeah.
make sure the components are right order. We also want to make sure that when you use a division, I'll show you in a second, because the division, I could open and close the division at the top screen, so it's not really containing anything. We want to ensure that it's children or its children. That's another standard upgrade that we need to do just to do things right, right? So on the test side, here's the testing. This guy should be passing. Yeah, so this is all good. Okay, so let me pick up this guy. Let's go here, and this is pass, and then I'm gonna give you a failing test, and then uh, Zafar, why didn't you take it first since you're the one who started this trouble? So we're doing a little bit of modification to the dots component, dots loading component. Zafar is saying, oh, we forgot to wrap it. We need to wrap this, right? So we're gonna wrap it together. We're gonna do this together. So I'm gonna go here into the instance rendered loading components. Instance paragraph dots contain, there it is. So I'm just going to put it on top of this guy, render dot instance dot loader dot should not be null. And that guy for sure is going to fail. We know that guy is going to fail
Yeah.
um because we didn't hook it up to anything. So let's run this guy here. There we go. There you go. Here's a failure. And it's failing because it says this should not be null. Great. So here's a failing test. All right, Zafar, take it home. Let's go.
Okay. Sounds good. Let me share my screen.
All right. This'll be a quick one, and then we'll go right back on track.
Okay. Let me find your branch.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you the name. Let's see if the naming convention is clean enough that you can find it.
So I can say minor
Yeah,
and
Miner will pick it
it's
up.
okay.
That's right. That early in the project, you should be able to find it,
Yep.
with just
I found.
a categorization. But naming, down the road, the naming is going to be super important when it comes to these things. Yeah,
Yep. Let me see if the test is failing.
you have to run the
So
test to make sure it's failing, so you don't believe that I told you that it's failing. It should be like a word, I had I had this buddy of
Get
mine.
lost.
We used to work together, and we were building some really complex project together. And he would always say this: "Let's just assume that the test has failed." I was like, let's assume that the test has failed. That the compiler is gonna buy that. That's totally believable. You know, it's good times. Just remember people like that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
test failed. So basically, we go in here and division base.
Uh-huh.
So let me give a reference.
Nice. Yeah, this is what I was
Okay.
talking about. You see how you containerized it? I will have the test pass and then move that closing tag to the top without containing the others, and it's still gonna pass. Let's
Yeah.
just let's just run this. I'll show you. Let's go.
Yeah, because we don't test the order of
We
our
don't.
components.
No, not just that. Even if you test the order, that's not gonna catch it because I'm basically saying they're in order, but they're also containing each other. Like it's actually within the division, not outside of it.
Yep.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to do about this guy?
Nope. I think
Okay.
this is enough.
Yeah, minor components. Let's go. Abdul Samad, can you review this PR? Um,
Yep.
let's
Yep.
review this PR and see.
Okay. Let me take the screen here.
StreamYard is doing this new cool thing where you can show the comments on the screen itself. Look, I'm gonna push testing, testing. Do you see it at the bottom right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep, I have pushed the PR.
All right. Abdul Samad, do you wanna share your screen while you review this? See,
Yep.
I'll wait for you to open the actual PR. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, just hit the pull request. You already opened the pull request, right?
Okay. Yeah,
He's
this
still wa-
one.
he's still
So
waking up. He's still not there yet. Uh,
let's see.
See, GitHub didn't bother putting servers, around the world to make the latency. So now you have to travel all the way to US West just to get GitHub load to load. That's crazy business, man.
It's correct. It's very slow. Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Um.
big boss man is gonna review your code now. Zafar, watch out. It's coming for you.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. No, these are not the changes. The only change here is this.
Mm.
Yeah, I think all is good. It's good.
It looks good. No problems. Clean code.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Upon approval. Okay, we got approved.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Let's do this. So, um, if it's approved and merged, we can basically go back and say, okay, we're ready to develop this new component, right? And this new component is, hi, Amir. So this new component is basically an orchestration component. We introduced this recently, actually, with our UI components and whatnot. Um, okay, so minor components, wrapping dots. This is all good. I'm just gonna merge this because we built it locally together. This is not some far, far away team or anything like that. So, okay, perfect. Now let's go back to the architecture. Let's just talk about this for a second, right? First of all, we need to kind of pull latest and see if our POC still works, right? Because we added a new thing. I think our POC now just doesn't need that extra division that we added in that home screen. So if you go here, I think we added a division. No, we didn't add anything. We just called these components as is. So let's just run this and see. It shouldn't change anything, but
I think it should.
it should change something? You think so?
Yeah, I think it's gonna
No,
be as we expect. No?
no, it didn't change anything. Look.
Oh,
Ah, you're
um,
wrong.
because you see, we kind of have too many like the big gap between finding kindness and then uh
Yeah, that
Ex-
it, yeah, I see it, but I didn't expect it to make a severe change like these components will not play along and whatnot. But this one is going to be very easy because we're literally adding these two together and then we're just adding the CSS, right? I don't know how to say your name. Maybe Zafar can say your name. Can you say the name of that dude so I can
yeah,
what how do you say his name? I can't read.
Jawahir.
Jawahir?
Yeah,
Jawahir
right.
wa alaikum salam. I'm sorry, I can't read these letters, but we got Zafar for that. He could give us the air coverage for that one. Okay. Okay, and then the problem with this kind of on-screen thing is that it's kind of going over the code, so I'll just do it this way. This is better. So this is Amir, this is Jawahir. Okay, got it. Teach me how to read these letters sometimes, dude. You know, like I wanna be one of the cool kids. Okay, let's create a new branch. So this is users, Hassan, Habib. How do we do this? This is an orchestration component, right? So I'm gonna say orchestrations, right? And then I'm gonna go and say components because component itself has become a category in and of itself. You know how we say minor dash component, right? And major dash component. This is orchestrations components. And then we go and say loading. It's just a loading component. That's all. We have a question here. Amir Khan says, I'm developing a UI component library using Redzen Blazor and use this library in my project. So basically, I am constructing an abstraction of product for product. You can say framework library for my company, okay? What do you suggest? Any documentation? I haven't used Redzen, Amir. What I usually go with is Sync Fusion, right? And this is not a promotion of any product. Like I'm not in a deal with Sync Fusion or anything. I just use their products a lot and it worked for me, right? So I don't know if Redzen has a lot of documentation, but I think the idea of documentation, if software is going away, everyone now is going to GPT or Jippity, like Paul likes to call it, or Gemini or Grok or whatever is out there. I would just start there. I would start a conversation with either GitHub Copilot or that instead of having to go through a long wall of text of documentation, honestly. I don't know where the documentation is. I don't use the library. Sorry, Amir. Okay, so let's start this, guys. So this is under foundations. I'm gonna create a new folder now, and I'm gonna call that folder orchestrations. Orchestrations. Right? And because it's on the action, it's going to be loadings like that because it's a loading component. And then I'm going to say the name of the component is um, so it's going to be the component name loading
Orchestrations.
orchestration component, right? Loading orchestration component,
Uh,
component.
I have a question.
Mm,
So since we have a POC, like shouldn't we include that the background card because this card is gonna be a wrapper for the ready
probably,
components, right?
probably. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know if
think we
we,
would do that.
I don't know if we should put the card. What was the original design? The original design has a card and then a background,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So the card,
background.
So would the card be part of this or be part of the coordination one? Because all these components are going to be loading inside of this card.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Yeah. And
Because
only
Mhm.
body is gonna change, right?
Yes,
Mm. Sounds good.
just my thought, right? Like this loading content error will all be inside that card. So that coordination component is going to be the one handling that. Just my
Mm-hmm.
ideas, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, hmm.
Sounds good.
So let's do that. So I'm going to keep this clean, clean and bright and clean. And then I'm going to basically take the create the C# equivalent.cs. I'm going to add the copyrights here for people that, don't know how to do that, control period. And then public partial class, don't forget to say component base, kind of important. And what are the things that we want to include? Well, this one is going to be super easy because what we need here is there a loading state error on this one? This one has loading state error?
No, I don't think that we are going to need it because we are
Why
not
not?
making any calls
There's no
and
calls. There's no
yeah.
operations. There's no error in the sense of like you're literally putting layers, right? So there's no need for loading. There's no long running process, whether it's remote or local, is what I'm trying to say, right? But also, if you put a loading on the loading, then we need to put more loading on the loading on the loading. That's just that you just opened up a black hole in the universe. You don't want to do that. But let me tell you what we need. We definitely need styles, right? We need styles for sure. But for starters, I know that we need the dot component, loading dots component. So this is loading dots component. And then the other one is
Loading
the
spinner.
spinner component, spinner.
Load, no, loading spinner.
Yeah,
Loading
but
spinner
when I
component.
just throw like a piece of the name, it finds the
Okay.
rest of it, right? That's the beauty of it. Loading spinner component, right? And then we need to create a styles one, right? So I'm just gonna go here. I'm gonna go under models, and I'm gonna intentionally just leave it super open here, orchestrations, and then loadings, same thing. But then the difference here is that we get to kind of, so this is a loading orchestration component styles, right? And this guy can inherit from sharp styles, sharp style, like that. And I'm just going to leave that open very intentionally because you don't want to add things when you're not really driven by a test that's failing for these things. Not just yet, right? It doesn't make sense, right? So only add code if the test tells you to add code. But if the test doesn't tell you to add code, why would you? Why would you do that, right? Um, let's go back to this here. We need a style base, don't we? So prop style base. And what do we call this one, guys? Just style base or just style?
Component styles.
Component style.
Component styles. Like that. What about the
Yep.
actual styles? Like if I say loading orchestration component
Style.
styles,
Yep.
just style? Styles
Yep.
like that? Okay.
Yep.
I love my team. You guys just know things. Now, why is this guy tripping? It's saying inconsistent accessibility. Yeah, that's right. So let's go and do that,
Yep.
right? And let's go back here. Should be happy now. Great. So now I can kind of initialize the testing for that component. Super quick and easy. Let's go down to,
Won't we need a division to wrap these two components?
oh, that's right.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do need
So,
one.
yep, that's absolutely right. So prop division base um,
Maybe
components
card or something.
wrap or
Card
card.
Card,
division.
right?
Card
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah.
Card is fine. Card is fine. Okay.
Card
Let's
division, right?
or card division. That's right. Let's do that. And now let's write some tests. So under components, under foundations, under components here, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it orchestrations. And now loadings. And now let's do the tests. Loading orchestration component tests. There you go. Control KD, KE. And then let's, what is it? Test fixture? Test context?
Context. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. He changed it. Mr. Eagle Hands has changed it a couple of times on us. Okay. And then private read-only, well, it's not read-only, private I rendered component, and then loading orchestration component. And this is my rendered loading orchestration component. That guy will just sit like that. And then let's do a CTOR. Let's do this dot services dot add sync fusion Blazor. And there's nothing else actually we're adding here. So it might just be like that, right? Okay, this is all good. And then let's have another copy of this. Did I partialize this already? No, I did not. I made my own life harder. So let's do that. And let's paste this new file here. And then I'm gonna say render, right?
Yep.
Like that. And then we don't need to inherit twice. Be careful of this, guys, because I see like when we do partial classes, especially when you're doing it in a foundation service or whatever, when you copy the code, I see this a lot. Like, check out this one. Like for instance, Arc View service, right? See, why are we inheriting this again? Like you already implemented. This is like this is even worse. Look, the Arc View service, the main one, doesn't have the interface, but the one with the exception does. Well, that's ridiculous. It should be the opposite. What about the
Yep.
foundation service? Look, the foundation service here is good, but then this is inherited again. Why is that? It doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Should we keep it?
No, 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 you
Doesn't make
shouldn't.
sense. Doesn't make sense, right? So, but also more importantly, I wonder if I can just create an issue from here, right there and then. So get blame. Let's see who wrote this. It's probably me. Yeah, I did this, right? I kind of reviewed my own code, but it's such a shame that I can't create an issue from here. Maybe Zafar, maybe create an issue for this. It's line 15,
Okay.
if you can. Yeah, it's line 15. Okay. So while we're doing that, let's do a test. Public void should default components. I think we used to call it something else, I'll tell you. Should render defaults. Yeah, should render defaults. There we go. Should render defaults. There you go. So now given when. So this is your, let me kind of zoom in. People probably on their phones are suffering, trying to see the actual code. So var initial loading orchestration component equals new loading orchestration component like that. So that should default everything. And then initial loading orchestration component dot, let's take them one by one. So component styles should be null. And then I want initial loading, this is styles, should be null. Initial loading orchestration component, loading dots, well, division first, card, should be null, like that. And then initial, loading
Loading.
spinner. Is the spinner first or the dots first? The spinner first, right? Just chronologically,
Yeah.
how they render in the skate,
Yeah.
right? So this
Yes.
is dots component should be null, like that. And then let's do the I think that's all of them, right?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's
That's
all.
all. So let's see. One, one, two, three, four, five, right? We should have five. One, two, three, four, five. That's right. That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
And
going
this
to
guy,
say,
or go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say, the lines are longer than the method name. If we can break them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, we try as much as possible with these. Let's see, maybe this will help. That's a good point. So if we do it this way, I just want to also be like consistent so your eyes expecting, like
Yep.
even for the ones that are not, yeah, this guy's way too far into the game. By the way, if you follow this um, rule of not having the line go over the method name, you don't have to worry about 120 character anymore because you already made sure that this is less than 120 character. So everything underneath it, if it stays within that realm, you don't have to worry about that particular rule anymore. There he is, Ricky! Ricky! How you doing, brother?
Doing good. A little late for the party, but here I am.
That's fine. I keep fluctuating. Like I keep going back and forth on the time. I tell people sometimes 7, sometimes 8, and then be like, wait a little, let's start late. It's just, it's just me. You're fine. I mean, we literally just started like 30 minutes ago. And then half of that was just me yapping about, what this project is. And it's always safe to assume that people don't have any context. They're like AI models these days. If you run them local, they have no context. You just don't know who you are anymore. So let's see. Let's see if that works. Hopefully I won't lose you guys just running this unit test. That'd be nice. There you go. So that's passing. Okay. Abdul Samad, do you want to write
Yep.
the next failing test?
Yep.
So the next failing test would literally say, are these components rendering? And then the last one would be, are we applying the right styles? And that would be like a really quick and nice session. Okay, so this is pass. It's all yours now. Since this is the first orchestration component we build, I think it's safe to assume that if you just search for the word orchestrations, it's just going to work. It's just going to come through. Let's go to town, I'm Summon. Let's do it.
Okay.
This is fun because the team that we have right now is bigger than the amount of things we have to do today, which is great. This is a good thing, right? This is a two-guy thing, and we have 4 of us. So that's good. That's a good thing.
Okay. Let me adjust this.
Let me see if I can pull our resident British commentator. I don't know if it's late for him. I'll find him. Hold on. Yeah. I have to give him a list of things not to say during the stream. All right, I'm sorry. I see your screen. Go ahead. You're gonna want to zoom in a little bit, like really, really
Okay.
zoom in. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going more, 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 more. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So the
Okay.
branch name, is it components?
If you just search for orchestrations, you should be able to find it. It should be right there.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So let me create a new branch. Okay. Yep. No, it's still the same one. Okay.
I don't know if our British friend will join. I'm not sure if he would ever join the stream. I see you down there waiting. Of course, I have to do this to you. What's up, dude?
What painting you put me through today?
Let me change the view So the screen, yeah, this is much better. Now people can see. You can, if you want to make your screen wider, Abdul Samad, I'm gonna keep it like keep us all at the same level like that. I think that's better. That's a better view.
Okay. Okay.
How you doing, Ward? Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it? Probably literally.
Literally.
I'm starting to hate working with streams in .NET.
I thought you loved streams in .NET. What are you talking about?
I've got this weird error I just can't get rid of, where it's telling me that a blob on a blob store is being modified whilst I'm trying to read it, because my code is so fast that the asynchronous operations are colliding with one another, and I can't track it down. It's really annoying the hell out of me.
Streams, C#, man, it's all mystery to me. I wouldn't know. I wish I knew.
Me too, to be honest.
So, you know, Paul, I think that just FYI, like moving onwards, building these UI components, it's not enough that we verify that they exist on the screen. Last time we said we have to make sure that they exist in order, and then the new thing that just hit me this morning is that they exist in order and hierarchy, like something containing something else. We must verify that it's actually containing it. If you have a division, you know, if you verify only for the order, a division could open and close at the top and your test will still pass. That's not okay, right? We need to make sure that the things that are supposed to be inside that container still exist inside that container. I changed my mind. I'm going to put us on the side because to see the rest of the Visual Studio screen. But yeah, so just heads up, if you're ever building a Blazor component, we need these two things. This is a new standard. We're upgrading. I'm sure you're very excited about that.
You've built like Blazor components for every HTML tag, right? So
Yeah.
effectively what you're doing is you're verifying the markup structure in C#4 is actually what you expect.
That's right. Without, like, if your unit test starts to touch on these native components, you already are doing it wrong, because the whole idea of your base components is to abstract away these native components. Like, for instance, when you say division base, right, it's hiding away that div. If one day we decide to change that div, right, and your test is looking for actual div tag as a literal string, you've already done it wrong, because you're supposed to stick only to the component. You know what I mean?
Are you not effectively doing that though? Because the abstraction is essentially producing the same output and you're explicitly checking for that particular output. It's just the way
No.
that you're doing it is a
No.
layer above.
No. I'm not checking for that particular output at all. Are you talking about what BUnit is doing or what I'm doing in the unit test?
So when you say in your markup, hey, I want a div base, you're saying, hey, put a div tag here, right, to Blazor. So Blazor then goes and writes a div in the actual HTML markup.
That's right.
But if you're not, what I'm basically saying is, what you're not doing is you're saying, hey, there's an actual div in the markup. What you are saying is, I've got a division base in my Razor markup, which is exactly the same thing, right? Because they're one-to-one related. I'm saying, like, your justification is, hey, you don't want to be doing like string compares.
That's
So
right.
you've got a kind of object model for it. But
That's right. And
that
that object,
from it.
I'll tell you, that object model will always stay the same. It's that layer of abstraction, even if you change the underlying native thing, because that base component, right, the class is going to always be the same, even if you change the HTML underneath, and your unit test won't change for that. It's like saying you're mocking a storage broker regardless of whether you're calling SQL or Cosmos or anything else, right? It's always going to be insert student async, regardless whether you're actually doing insert into database with a Dapper. I know you love Dapper. Dapper is like your favorite thing. Ricky, do you know Dapper? You know, people that like to write just flat out strings of SQL in their C#.NET code. That's Dapper. It's great. Yeah.
Give my
I mean,
girls some dinner. Be right back.
All right. Yeah, Dapper basically is like it got popular for a while and then AF Core started to take over because AF Core would still allow you to pass a literal string, a literal SQL string onto your database. So that was the end game basically. Yeah, I never hear about Dapper anymore.
so I have found some uses to it when it comes to, for example, Lambda functions that you
Mm,
have to do something simple operation and you need to
mm,
connect to the database instead of
mm.
having to set up a DB context and all the ORM model
Just a
stuff.
quick
Yeah,
set the database.
at least I found that use for that. But
I can see
something
it.
like more complex, then yeah, definitely EF Core all the way.
So that's where they took over basically. That's how they got popular is that they're simple. It just works. You don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
inherit. You don't have to
exactly.
install 5 NuGet packages. You don't have to inherit a context DB. You don't have to deal with all that. But you know what concerns me is that what do the exceptions look like? Like when the database errors out. I haven't used
Mm,
Dapper in real world kind of enterprise systems before. So what would that look like? That's the question, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It,
We
it,
should.
Yeah,
it,
Mhm,
it
mhm.
could be generic, like generic exceptions like that,
Oh, just
but
generic
like
exceptions.
they
Mm,
wouldn't it wouldn't be more specific like the what type of errors are coming out of it. Probably. I wouldn't know that, but
mm, mm.
yeah. I think I wrote a failing test. So
That's it. Zafar, your
the
turn. You're gonna have
flag
to write code now. Do you know if Zafar is good at C sharp? Anyone knows? You know, does he write C sharp ever? When was the last time you saw Zafar write C sharp? I can't remember it. I don't see it.
let's go.
All right,
Did you
man, let's
push?
go.
Yeah. Let me push. I
He
think
saw
I
he saw
did.
the one, the /1, and he was like, that guy didn't push nothing. Let's see.
Yeah, I pushed. You can check now. Just search by orchestrations.
Okay.
Carlos says Dapper still has a few use cases here and there. Is it, Carlos? I know that there is Dapper without an E, and there's Dapper with double P's and ER. Did I get that wrong? Let's see, Dapper.net. Yeah, Dapper, there's Dapper, Dapper, which is an object relational model. And then there is APR in .NET, which is another product. And that does something completely different, I think. I think that guy is Dapper offers a variety of packages to help with the development of .NET application using them to create .NET client servers and virtual actors with Dapper. Yeah, there's two different Dappers. I don't know why would you do that to the developers. You know, if you really want to kill your brand, go ahead and create something that sounds exactly similar to, to another product. That's ridiculous. Yeah, Carlos says I spelled it wrong. No worries. Yeah, Dapper versus Dapper. You know, I mean, do you actually say the other one also the same? Dapper. So there's Dapper versus Dapper. One for one for infrastructure, and one is an object entity model, OEM. Crazy, crazy business.
And the only one I tend to ever hear about is the ORM one.
Yeah,
Well,
ORM
they,
one is the popular one.
they call it a micro ORM, and then they're like, "Oh, it's so much faster than EF," and I'm like, "But if you do half the job, you're going to do it in half the time, right?"
That's right. You gotta have, but what Ricky was saying before you left, after you left, he was saying like if he's spinning up an Azure function or a Lambda, like that's an AWS kind of language, Lambda, right? And you want to hit the database real quick and do something quick. He thought Dapper, 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 the OEM or ARM is the one that can do it quicker. But I'm interested to see what kind of exceptions it throws. That's the one thing I'd be interested in.
Doesn't that let you just like write a raw blob of SQL and all it does is the
Yep. It's
relational
called the
mapping
database.
piece? Yeah.
Yep. If you think about it, Paul, like a long time ago, like early 2000s, we used to write something called SQL client that came out of the box.
Oh god, ADO.net.
Yeah, ADO.net, right? There was no Dapper, there was no entity framework, there was nothing.
The good old days.
The good old days.
You can still do that in EF. So EF has a basically you can say like database dot
Yeah, send the raw.
some
Yep,
T from SQL or something.
that's right. That's
And then
right.
you can just give it a raw blob of SQL and be like, run that.
That's true, but also what Ricky was saying basically is that it's much easier. Like Dapper is a lot easier than EF to set up, which is true. I agree. Like you have to install like 4 different NuGet packages. Like you need to install and you need to run a migration for some reason. Maybe you don't have to run a migration if you're just running raw SQL, but you still have to install a bunch of things, right? That's the
You'd
difference.
expect that though, because you're getting more for your money, aren't you? So
That's true. That's right. It's
So,
true. You're
it's
getting
like,
a bang for your buck, Paul.
Yeah.
That's how proper English speaking people say a bang for your buck.
proper bang for your buck. Yeah.
I know what you did there. Buck, Paul, B-U-C-K.
With a capital F.
With the Please don't get my channel flagged. Please don't do that. We have a really nice streak of family-friendly content, and then you come in and you just make it worse.
Let's be clear about this. You
Uh-huh.
drag me in
Yep,
on
literally.
my weekend where I'm already doing work.
Yep, that's also mandatory. You have to just
Yeah.
follow me wherever I go.
It's not enough to be working. I've got to be working twice.
You gotta be working, gotta be streaming, you gotta be playing, you know. So Ricky, here's a funny story. I got a bunch of developers, bunch of software engineers. I said, hey, let's play Call of Duty together, right? We got wiped out. You know, these guys just belong in front of PCs writing code. This fast catch the, aim and catch the enemy. Nope, not for them. Not for these guys. I was disappointed. I was a little disappointed. Some random
I
dude
was
just
fine
joined.
tuning the whole game. Honest.
He was actually just he was running an IO intensive local operation on his local machine while playing Call of Duty at the same time. That was brutal. That's bad.
Sorry guys, I have a question. Can we compare the design with with our POC so I can start writing tests for the
Oh, the lovable.
style?
Oh, the lovable thing.
Yeah,
Let's
it
take a
seems
look
that
at it.
it's not exact.
It looks right to me, but let's take a look at lovable and see.
Okay.
I think last time, let's see, I got it. Where is it? It's right here. Is it this one? Is this the right one? Hold on a sec. Trying to find it. Yeah, lovable is amazing. I love lovable. That's why they called it lovable, because it's lovable. There you go. That's the one.
Are you guys doing this whole app on live streams? Like, really?
Yeah, we're on a live stream. Did you think that was a recording? Oh, that's why. You got too comfortable. Do you see it?
No. I was saying like, is the project the whole project like we did
Yeah.
with Odette Neo?
Yeah, just like Odata Neo. Yeah. Yep. Just like, do you remember standard OpenAI project? We got that whole thing wrapped up in about 36 sessions. This one is not going to take 36 sessions, but yeah. This is
Can we check? Can we check the gap between this rotated box and finding kindness word?
the
The
gap.
gap between them.
Let's see.
Yeah.
So this guy has a zero margins. It doesn't have anything that's actually separating it. The gap actually is coming from the container. This container here has a margin bottom of 24 pecs. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
so what does it look like on your side? Let me add your view to the
it is
stage.
20.
20? Yeah, just make it
Yeah,
24. We should be fine.
I think for other text as well, 24, right? Let's say the paragraph and then the three dots.
I honestly think I think the current POC is good. Go ahead. Go ahead. Just proceed with that.
Okay, let me check one more time with 24.
Sure. Yeah, Paul, this is a. Did you put mad scientist as a title in your? Okay.
You keep referring to me as such, so I'm
are
just
a
going
mad.
to go with it.
You are a
Own
mad
it.
scientist. You are a mad scientist. What does Carlos say? I think Dapper allows to bring back multiple data sets in one trip. I
It does.
wish EF. Well, you could. Well, Carlos. Well, let me tell you something. You could actually do that also in EF Core if you do include. If you do dot include, and then you get like I'll write an example on the screen, and then you probably see it. So if you have students data set, and then include, and then you can say student dot schools. Let me push that here on the stream. It's literally like this, Carlos. Exactly like this. You can get the students data set and the schools within the student data set. Or did you mean not connected data sets? Is that what you were trying to say? EF Core is wild. It grew up like crazy. Like I know, like I want to see something that Dapper does that EF Core can't do. And again, I'm not advertising for either one of them. I'm just saying the tools that I've used in the past, right?
I know it also does the split query. I don't know if you've seen that
Oh, the
feature.
split query? That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. I saw that. I saw that. That it increases performance like crazy
yeah.
as well. I'm asking Jippity, like Paul calls it, Jippity. I'm asking it, what does Dapper do that EF Core can't? So it says Dapper and Entity Framework Core are both. Let me show you the answer. I'll take your screen, Zafar, for a second, but you keep going on that. So
I think the honest answer to that is nothing. So EF Core is basically Dapper plus some additional like schema
yeah,
management stuff like that wrapped around it,
yep.
and the link integration and stuff like that.
So it's basically saying Dapper and EF Core are both object relational mappers. That's what ORM stands for. I keep saying model, forgetting mapper for .NET, but they differ significantly in philosophy. I know philosophy. Here's what Dapper can do that EF Core can't. Okay, blazing fast performance. I don't know what that is. How do you explain that? Right. I mean, I know that EF Core is trying to save things in the context or in memory for the sake of performance, but I don't know. Right? Dapper is faster than EF Core for querying and mapping data, often by large margin. Okay. It's essentially a micro ORM. Paul, you just said that.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that first statement because this is the common argument that's levied. But with Dapper, you're putting in a raw block of SQL. With EF, you're putting in an expression tree. And EF has to map the expression tree to SQL, then execute it. So it's doing twice as much work. That's why
Exactly.
Dapper seems to be faster, because it's doing half as much, which is my original
It's
point.
doing half the job. That's right. That's the original. That's right. That's right. But also, like, you know, it's essentially a micro ORM that executes raw SQL and maps the results object. I mean, like if EF Core just stuck to doing that, it'll be faster.
And something interesting is saying right there, change tracking, link queue translation, but it doesn't mention that you can always deactivate the what's it called, the ask no tracking, which does help with some of the query performance.
That's
a
right.
bit. Yeah.
My
But
favorite
also,
feature is the query filters.
But
So you can
wait,
put a query filter on set 1, put a query filter on set 2, and then you can do a query where you can say, go get me all of set 1, include set 2, and it filters both sets. Show me Dapper doing that.
look at this other crap. It's basically saying for SQL control. Wait a second. I mean, you can run raw SQL in EF Core. Now I'm getting angry. Now Jippity is pissing me off because it's just full of misinformation. It's just not true.
It's the information you get from the Dapper guys. If you
From
go
the
to
Dapper
Dapper
guys,
guys and
that's
say,
right.
this is what the story is. Yeah.
This is some Stack Overflow BS that is not true. It's not verified. Oh my lord. Minimal overhead and simple. So again, it's just repeating points at this point. It's just saying the same thing. Why am I getting so angry at this? Because it's false. It's false information. It's spreading false information. Better for stored procedures. We shouldn't use stored procedures. How did this drive stored procedures? Right? Stored procedures are the work of the devil. We all know that.
Who wants their business logic in the database anyway?
Oh my God. High performance, rich domain modeling and relation. Oh, forget about the part that you have to actually go write a database schema by hand in a database. No migrations, no model to database. This thing, what is this? What am I looking at here? I'm looking at garbage. That's what I'm looking at right here.
Which I think discounts it as an ORM, because these days people have the expectation that if you can't do schema management, migrations, things like that, it's not an ORM.
Seriously, bro. What are we looking at here? Crazy. Anyway, going back to business. I don't necessarily hate Dapper, but I don't think you can. It's not apples to apples with EF Core, because EF Core is basically like the whole shebang. It's really the whole 9 yards. You have everything you need in your control. You don't need a DBA. You don't need a database administrator. You don't need someone who knows SQL. You don't need to know SQL yourself to stand up a full-blown API. Okay, Carlos says no. He was talking about the not connected data sets. Well, I'm interested to see how Dapper pulls not connected data sets. That'd be interesting. He also said EF Core is really great. Split query is great to prevent Cartesian explosion. That's right. And then EF Core has a little more overhead since it has that expression tree, but you can pre-compile expressions too in EF Core. Oh, I didn't know that. Interesting. Pre-compile expressions. What?
Yeah, you can cache them. So it's crazy. It's one of the new features that they've added fairly recently, actually. It's only been around like a year or two. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Didn't know about that.
That's wild. That's wild. Carlos said, can you ask it to basically compare? Let's see. Let's compare. It's basically, can you tell it to compare the latest versions? Okay, compare the latest versions of EF Core to Dapper. This is stupid. Why am I getting angry at this? I shouldn't be angry at this. Okay. All right, here we go. So Dapper versus EF Core. I see a lot of red on the right, no reds on the left. That's a good start. That's a real deal, right? It's basically say there is no built-in tracking extensions exist. That's why you were talking about Reiki earlier, right? And then no migrations or schema tooling. That's a deal breaker for me. I'm not gonna go back to the days where I have to design a database by hand. That's ridiculous, right? And then no, not applicable, SQL only. Ooh, that's right. EF Core works with Cosmos DB, and you can literally just change the underlying library after the core, and you can talk to Cosmos. But Dapper
You have to write a new migration
extension
set for your model.
That's right. That's true. But still, oh man, I forgot that part too. Yeah, developer insight from 2025. EF Core is a horrible leaky abstraction. Oh my God. Very easy to write bad database access code. Start from EF, and if the
The
project,
argument there is because it exposes iQueryables, right? And they claim
That's
that
right.
iQueryable is leaky because of the tie-in between ASP.NET and like things like OData So it's passing like your database functionality all the way up your code stack, but in a leaky way. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like AF Core is just has had bad reputation because of the trial and error, the natural trial and error process that every product should go through. You know what? You know what they say, have you heard this saying before? There are two kinds of software. The one everyone complains about, and the one no one is using, right? So if people are complaining about EF Core, it's because of the increased utilization, right? Now, a real question, this is a real question. Numbers speak louder than the cries of any developer kind of hating on one platform or another. The real question is, how do they compare in terms of utilization? Which one is used more in the developer community? That'll kind of confirm that little quote that I was just talking about. Ecosystem on the AF Core is Microsoft flagship ORM. Dapper, well, very popular amongst performance developers, has smaller ecosystem. The Wikipedia page, blah blah. Yeah, I don't see numbers in here. Let me get the numbers from NuGet, NuGet.org. Hold on. Let's do this. Dapper, how much Dapper has? Dapper has 500 million. Okay, 500 million downloads. Okay, what about Entity Framework? Entity Framework has only 338 million.
You want to search for Entity Framework Core because that's the old one.
That's right. That's the old one, right?
Yep.
The AF Core, like that. This one right here. Woo!
Yep.
1 billion, 600 million. Go home. Go home. That's all I'm gonna say. Dapper, go home. that's like 3 times as much. That's some hardcore enterprise stuff right there.
You'll probably find that there's some sort of ecosystem tie-in as well. So people using like OData, for example, versus people using GraphQL.
Yeah.
I bet you there's some like parity in terms of like
Yep.
who's using what, and
Yep.
you'll find that like there's a common stack. So if a
Yep.
particular like technology chain is popular, then you'll find people use the whole stack. They don't just take like a piece of this and a piece of that, unless they're kind of like an outlier.
Agreed. I'm with you 100%. I think that's true. I think it's just the fact that I think the ecosystem helps a lot. I think Microsoft realized that early on, right? If you have Visual Studio natively connected to Azure, easily pulling packages from NuGet, now you have an ecosystem and everything else can be sold inside. It's like bringing you to the mall, and everything inside the mall is what's available for you to buy. And if you want to buy something from outside the mall, you have to get outside of the mall to buy these things. It's actually brilliant. If you think about it as a strategy, if you want to sell software, that's how you do it. Okay, guys, is it my turn? Render styles and whatnot. Oh, you guys let me ramble on and didn't tell me that it's my turn. Okay, it's your fault. You know it's your fault, right? Let's do that. Let's do that. So private loading orchestration component styles, setup styles like that.
Yep.
And then return new loading orchestration styles. Oh, this is gonna be the easiest session, dude. This is peanuts. This is nothing. I'm happy about this. I mean, when it gets super complex, you'll see me talking less and pushing code more because I want, like, the first session of this took 4 hours. The second session took 4 hours because I was really trying to set up the foundation. But now, yeah, there it is. And then set up styles like that.
Yeah, the
And then
method should be static, I think.
private static like that because it doesn't care about the instance of the class, right? Let's do that. All right, let's run that last guy. Let's see. What a sweet, sweet session. I'm gonna have you guys listen to a really creepy thing. So I was trying yesterday to record audio offline. So actually have AI like I give it a sentence and run a local large language model to record audio. And I didn't give it a lot of instructions, right? The first time I wrote it, it basically just produced like really robotic voice. And then I said, let me give it a longer sentence and have it say, hello, how are you doing, Paul Wardy? And it flipped its accent to British. I swear to God, I didn't tell it to do that. I swear, Paul, you saw the prompt. Am I making this up? I swear it did that. I'll have you listen to it. It's very creepy. Creepy
Yeah, you're
stuff.
doing it in real time. I think we were on we were just messing around on Discord, weren't we?
Yes,
It
we were
was-
just
it
messing.
was- yeah, I watched you do it. It's kind of funny.
I was doing it literally live in front of him, and I was like, wait a second, what just happened? This is so creepy. This is so creepy. I'll have you guys listen to it right now. It's very creepy. Let me, and then from now onwards, like I start giving it like text from Moby Dick, like the story, the novel, and it just kept going British accent. Li Listen to it. Listen to it. It's very creepy. It's like a demon or a ghost. Watch this. There you go. To share audio, share a tab or a screen instead. That's really stupid. I can't share audio with you guys? That's crazy. Why it's not letting me do that? Ah, let me do it from the Discord chat. Hopefully Paul and I are not saying terrible things to each other in the chat. Here you go. Okay, now listen to this. Let me know.
Grammar in training.
To share audio, share a tab or a screen. It wouldn't, oh, I have an idea. It says I have to share like a browser tab, right? But also, like you can actually play audio literally in your browser. I just need to, okay, this one. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. I figured it out. Yep. It's my world, baby. Software. Here we go. Okay, can you see this random thing? Now listen to this.
Nothing.
You can't hear the audio? Okay, let me try again.
No.
So maybe I was too arrogant with the whole here. Tab. Yeah, now we're gonna hear it. Here you go. Listen to this.
Hello, I'm Jane. I hope you're having a great day. How are you doing, Paul Warder?
Crazy. This is all running offline. No cloud, no nothing. It's just running offline with a system called TTS, like a model called TTS. What was that? I didn't tell it to speak. Did you hear that British accent? How you doing, Paul Warday? That was weird. What was that? Anyway, let's go back to that other creepy business that we're doing. So, so that's passing, right? What else you need from me? Do I just run it as a POC and we create a PR? Is that what it is? Let's go to the home page.
Actually, yeah, it's done.
Let's do this. Loading. Orchestration. But then Paul wouldn't do anything in this stream then. I wanted him to work even more. Like that's against what I'm trying to do. Let's run this.
You gotta stop bullying me, man. So mean.
Oh, what was that? Okay, hold on a second. That's not right. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Yep.
So what did we miss?
If you
Let's
I
find
miss,
out.
think we should.
Do you remember
we
how? Do you remember how we said we shouldn't have that flex position thing? The flex
Actually,
position.
we need that. Yeah, we need to specify the flex direction. We should say column
Yep.
in here. Yeah, flex direction property.
But there is
Okay.
no flex. Okay, there is flex, yeah.
There's flex here,
Oh,
Yeah.
right? Is there actually a thing called flex direction? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we just say
Column.
column.
Yep.
Do you see what happened to CSS, Ricky? CSS now is a programming language. It has its own thing.
We need a trailing comma.
You need a comma, yeah.
All right, let's do it. I've been writing Python too much with the LLM. I forgot the comma. Ah, there you go. That fixes it. All right, do you see it? So if there was only a way for us to do this in a test-driven fashion, I don't know. Let's find out. Let's go back here. Let's add flex direction column, and then let's have this guy fail actually first. Who wants to take the, Ricky, do you want to take that one? Do you have the thing running actually?
Yeah, I do.
Do you actually have it running? Okay. So here's a failing test. Ricky's gonna be the one actually creating the PR for us. This is gonna be it. Fail. There you go. Take it home. Slam dunk this baby. Go ahead. You can do this.
So
It's all yours.
basically, if this component, if this component is done, like, what is the next? Are we going to build the content one or the error?
We need to build the content and then error. Remember, loading content error, loading
Yeah,
content
loading.
error.
So we need a new design, right, for the content?
Absolutely. That's something to talk about. That's right. All right, Ricky, you're it.
Yeah, let me just make sure I'm in the right branch.
What is this? Is this Visual Studio
This is Visual
2022?
Studio, but he's using the Canary version. Do you see that little preview at the top left?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what would be Visual Studio 2025, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which,
looks
curious to know, I'm guessing they're not gonna call it that, right? Or
I
no
don't
idea,
know.
right? Yeah,
I don't
it's
work.
like
I don't work there anymore. I get to go on streams like these in full confidence. The only one I worry about on these streams is Paul Wardy, right? Like what he's gonna say next. It's gonna be like a make or break of my entire content creation career, right? So that's
Get a million subscribers, then I'll
yeah.
drop some bomb, no doubt.
He's gonna wait until I get to 1 million subscribers, and then he's gonna shut down the channel for me. That's exactly it. You know?
On the celebration stream.
Oh, speaking of celebrations, 100,000! Yay! Look at that.
I was about to say that. Aren't we at a point where we need to have a bit of a micro celebration?
We need the
you've got more than one
100,000
friend.
milestone. I'm waiting to see what YouTube is gonna send me. Like usually when I hit 25,000, we're like, congratulations, you got 25,000, and then 50,000, then 75,000, and now I hit 100, and they went completely silent. Be like, okay, now let's see if you're an actual real content creator at this point. You know, it's interesting. We'll see. If they don't give me that, I don't know, what is it? The silver play button.
yeah, silver for 100,000. Yeah.
If they don't give me that silver play button, I'm not doing anything on YouTube anymore. I'll move on to a different platform. Okay, so what we're learning from what's happening to Ricky right now is that do not download the Canary version of Visual Studio. It's so bad. Why is it taking so long, bro? What's wrong with it? Oh my lord, it's completely bonkers. Ricky, what's happening to it? It just died?
I think he ran build, so that took him out.
No. I'll tell you what happened. He didn't know that running the whole app will disconnect him from the stream.
Yeah.
We should have warned him. We should have warned him that this app is a virus. He didn't know. No, wait. He actually did know about this because we told him last time. We did tell him last time.
Yeah.
I don't know why when I run the whole thing, it just disconnects. Yeah, there he is. Ricky, did you get hit by the bug in the app when you run all the tests? It kind of kills.
Yeah, apparently. So I was trying to open the terminal just to see if that works, but yeah. But I did get the failing test. So
you get the failing test. You made it
Yeah.
pass.
yeah. Let me just.
Yeah, if
let
you
me
do it
just,
through the command line, that's the way to do it. Yeah, .NET
Yeah.
test. That's it. I think you have to navigate to the project itself, I think. Oh, you're already there. I already found it. Nice.
Yeah, just right click and.
Oh,
It takes
look, it's killing his stream
you
again. Look,
directly
look,
to
look.
it. Let's just hope it doesn't crash from it.
Yep, that's literally what it's doing right now. Wait for it.
Oh man.
No, you're still with us. I can see you, I can hear you, but we're just.
I am. Oh, okay.
Dude, look at this command line. It's beautiful. Look at all that. Look what's happening on the screen.
Oh yeah, I've been dabbling around with the Windows terminal.
It's freaking beautiful. Look at that. It's telling you what each and every one is doing. About 20 seconds. That's insane. Look at that. It's running in parallel too. It's building every project in parallel. That's sweet. Like for every different environment, like for iOS, Android, Windows, and all that, it's just running in parallel. Paul, are you seeing this? That's pretty sweet.
I'm amazed. Hassan has discovered threads.
Stop. Stop it. Shame on you. Shame on you forever.
After hearing me rant about multi-threaded stream processing for the last week.
If you come to me after this stream and be like, oh no, the garbage collection is not happening in real time, I'm not gonna answer. I'll be like, well, you just said that I just discovered streams, so you're gonna have to pay for it. So
well, it got lazy. I thought 128 gigs of RAM was enough.
Man, that would be awesome. Just got my own pathetic here, so.
yeah, it's eating up his stream. So Ricky, sometimes it just slows down your stream. You're not completely offline yet, but you start kind of sounding like a robot for a second, then he comes back. But you're still here, right? You're still with us, right? Yeah, he's look at the stream.
By the way, I'm using. Yeah, I have to be honest. I'm using a Surface Pro, which is why it's not beefy enough.
It's not exactly for building that. No, but I'm telling you, even on my machine, man, it did this to me like mid-stream, and I was the only one streaming, right? And the stream just was hung in there, yeah, quietly. There was no one there talking. There's just an empty screen. But so okay, so did it build? Did you make it pass? It's so good. You already pushed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it now.
Okay.
1 second.
Zafar, can you open a PR from the branch itself and put a screenshot?
Yep.
Actually, put a Giphy, screen to GIF.
Okay, let me pull from the branch. Let me know, Ricky, when it's pushed.
Whenever you're already pushed, Rick.
Yeah, let me just. Yeah, let me look for the test here. Okay. Test. All right. Should compile.
We lost your screen, by the way, Ricky. Oh, you already pushed it. Okay, perfect. Okay, Zafar, let's go. Stick it home.
Okay, so let me get a screenshot of it.
Here we go.
It's pushed now.
It's all pushed? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll take one more look at it just to kind of confirm. So I'm sharing my screen here. Here we go. Here we go. Refresh. Yep. Whenever you're ready, Zafar.
Okay, yeah, I wanna take a screenshot.
All right. If you can't get a Giphy, because this is an animated, as long as the thing that you're showing is animated, you probably want a Giphy, screen to GIF.
Okay, sounds good.
Paul, what are you showing on the screen? Is this your What is this showing?
Pain.
Look at what he's showing. He's destroying his PC real time. 71 gigs, 48 gigs in use in his memory. He must be running 2 Chrome tabs. That's what took the 48 gigs.
It's pretty much all it takes, yeah. And if I speak, it jumps up another 10 gigs.
Hit the CPU one. Hit the CPU one. Oh, that's multi-threading for you right there. He's just using all cores.
This, guys, for a point of reference, is how you talk to AI in the cloud.
24 cores, bro.
Look at that 600 megabits of bandwidth
Yeah,
to and from.
insanity. All right, Zafar, what do you got on your screen? The PR?
Yeah,
PR ready yet?
let me find the branch first. So
Okay.
basically, I think this one orchestrations, components, loading.
That's the one.
So components. Okay, so I have a
Mm.
video for that.
Can you click on the, yeah, go ahead and create. Yeah, that's fine. I think we have to say orchestration components, not components. It'll be orchestration components. But let me think about it yet. Don't change that. Just wait a little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty stuff. What do you guys think? It's beautiful. It's amazing. All right,
Yeah,
let me take,
4 people.
right, let me take a look at it now. So far on my side. So here's the screen. Refresh this screen. Here's a loading screen.
Hassan,
What is it? What is it, Ricky?
I think there is one unit test that did fail.
Oh,
Just
really?
letting you know. Yeah, just letting you know.
Let me, huh?
Yeah.
Let me run on my local. Let me do this. Hold on. So let me go back here. I can fix it. So let me pull latest. Zafar, do a run from your side as well. So
Actually, if you if you look at the demo, the position of that loading is still at the left, not at the top.
I thought something was missing. Maybe because
I don't know.
we didn't enforce the change. Let's just see. Just hang in there. Give me a sec. I can fix. Okay, so this guy component should render component on initialize, right? So this guy here is the one that failed, Ricky. Let's see why that guy failed. That guy failed because something, it's basically saying card division, card component. So it's basically saying that the card division CSS class to be the same string. So somewhere we called it card division and somewhere else we called it card component. So this guy's expecting card component, but in here we call it card division. Maybe that's why,
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna call it card component because that's probably what it should be, right? And then I'm gonna run again and see. That makes it all better, right? I think. So let me fix that. Let me go here and make that a pass. So that's a pass.
And
And I think that's the same
could you run
reason.
on your side?
Yeah, I will, but I think that's why it was not showing things proper because in your CSS, oh, you called it card division here. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Okay, that's fine. Let me go back to the test. That's why it was showing funny. So card division, this guy will fail. I can fix. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. There you go.
Yeah, and I noticed that there is no flex direction column in the CSS, like the property itself. It's not added.
What do you mean? Flex direction right here.
Not in here, like in the component itself.
Well, it would have failed, right? It's right here. What are you talking about?
Oh, it's here. Okay. Okay,
You're
let's see.
sleeping?
That's the one that I made it pass for.
Yeah, this guy's
Mhm.
sleeping. Where is he? Is he sleeping? Did you fall asleep?
See.
Okay. Zafar is an awesome guy. I like him personally. He's a great guy. But just he's this is the initial. This is should render, right? So it should render pass, right? And now everything will be better, guys. I'm telling you right now. So if I run this, so the Giphy that you uploaded is actually not a reflection
Yeah.
of this, right? I'll put a Giphy from my side. Don't worry about it. So here's a screen to GIF. And then where's the recorder? It's right here. You guys should really use that screen to GIF thing. It's pretty awesome. I love it. It's a very good one.
I use it a lot at
Use a
work.
lot.
Yeah.
I tried to find an alternative on my Linux, my Ubuntu machine. It's very hard. There is one, but it's not cross operating system. It's not cross platform. But loading demo. There you go. And then let's go back to the PR. I think everything is pushed already. And I think it looks right. Correct me guys if I'm wrong. Going back here, going to this screen. Yeah, that guy should have failed, but let me kind of update this. Let me drop the Giphy. Loading. Let's remove this guy. Preview. Yeah, all the better now. So I just take this one here. Here you go. Yeah, the reason why we have to kind of rename into orchestration components or whatever is because this is how you determine the complexity of the task. But you gotta admit, look at this beautiful stuff. Zafar, you probably gotta verify your account, dude, and so is Hassan. Both of us are not verified. You need to be verified.
Yeah.
If you're not verified, you're not real. It's not really you. Even though you're right here on the stream pushing that code, don't believe it. It's not real.
Actually, I'm verified. I don't know why that's telling that I'm not.
Well, you're not. That's what the GitHub is saying.
We will never know.
Hey, you
And
could be AI
you-
right now. Yeah, you
Do the
can.
Google VO.
For all we know, this
don't
is
even
AI.
know that Zafar's here.
No, he's not. No, he's not. I
Yeah.
can tell you right now, he's not here yet. Do you know how I know he's not here? Not verified. That's how you know.
You just invited a bot on stream.
I really want to do this at some point. I want to basically go and do like, I want to do like I want to go on a stream, but it's not really me. It's like an avatar or an AI model of myself, right? And have the whole stream just run through, see if anyone would notice. And then at the end of the stream, I'm gonna shut down the model. I'm gonna show up the real me and say, actually, that wasn't me the whole stream and nobody noticed. That's like next level Turing test. Like that's what happens next, like Turing test. That would be pretty cool, huh? That's pretty gangsta stuff to do, you know?
What you want to do is like drop a video that's done like that, but without the bit on the end where you reveal, and then a week later do a stream. Say, did anybody notice?
That would
Because
be
nobody pointed it out.
that would be the end game, I'm telling you. That would be like nobody will believe anybody on the internet anymore. Not that anybody believes anybody anyway, but like take misinformation to the whole new level, right? Just take this whole thing to a whole new level. I mean, eventually this demon is gonna come out of the box, guys. Like they're building robots with real touch and real feel skin. Like you can't even tell if this is an actual person or not unless you're there in the room and hearing the mechanics, all the motors that are going in the back end, you know. Yeah, we're walking right into that era, huh? Interesting. Interesting stuff. Is this about the oh my god, he keeps showing this ad that Mario Nofel showed. Let me show you what Paul has been showing me like on repeat. This is what Paul
It's
has been
just so
showing.
good because it like
Look at this. This is all AI. Hollywood is cooked, man. Look at this.
the original guy that's this Cavan the Kid.
Mm.
He's basically talks about how he's authored like a series of books basically that he's been collating together, and he's been figuring out how to put the prompts together.
It's so good.
Get
It's
AI
so
to do
good.
the whole thing. Yeah. So the theory goes that this is effectively a replacement for whole teams at Hollywood.
Yeah, it is. It is a replacement for entire divisions, right? And just let go of the cost. Check out the time. He probably generated this before his coffee was ready at a Starbucks. Like he probably ordered coffee, this got generated, and then his coffee's still not ready. This is wild. Look at that. This is influenced by Dune. That last bit, watch this. This bit here. Wait for it. Wait for it. This is Dune for you right there. That's the Dune movie. That right there. That's Timothy Chalamet right there. You know where this is coming from.
That's what I'm
It's
saying,
so
man. Like Hollywood must be
yeah, there you
scared
go.
by now,
There
right?
you go, Timothy Chalamet. Do you see that scene? Wait a
Yeah.
second. Do you see that scene? That's here. That's Timothy Chalamet for you. This data is coming from Timothy Chalamet. Look at what he's wearing, and the girl that's with him. That's from Dune, right there,
Yeah.
right there. Wow, dude. But here's the thing, like it's even worse than that now because what's actually happening is that like there's this court in California that basically judged that the content that AI is producing, even though it's relying on other content, it's not considered illegal because that's how anybody learns from something and then they go and author their own book or they author their own movie or do whatever. So they called it like kind of a quintessential whatever, right? They basically said this is fair use. You read a book, you read 10 books, and you went and wrote your own book, and obviously you'll be influenced by all these books that you read before, right? You watched a movie, you watched 100 movies, and then you generated a movie that's based on all of these movies. But here's the dark side of this. If you kill the industry of movie creation and authoring and content creation in general, you have no data to train on. It's done. It's the end game. Well, think about it, right? Like AI is relying on content that shows human creativity and human ingenuity in it. Okay, now you're making these content creators, you're making it harder for them to survive. Okay, so they're gonna go away. These jobs are gonna go away. What are you gonna be training on? Right? It's over. You kind of reach to a stale point where there is no creativity anymore. Right? Hi, Mohi. Mohi says hi. Let's see if the
Yeah,
build.
OpenAI were already complaining that they've ran out of data to train new models on. And they were
Did you
saying that the only way that they can now progress is to have AI generate new data sets to
That's right.
train future AI.
I wrote that. Yeah, I said I didn't write that. I saw that. I saw the part where basically they said let AI generate content for AI to train on.
So wait, AI building AI?
Yeah, AI building AI.
Yeah. There's
Self-replicating.
Whoa! Oh, wow.
Yeah,
There was a recent white paper.
yeah.
So when me and Hassan did our conversation on the Future of Thinking podcast, highly recommend, by the way, guys, go
Let me
go
drop the
watch
link
that.
for people here to know. This podcast is very important, guys. Go watch it. Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah. We were talking about some of the kind of side effects of all of this stuff, but I touched upon it, but I don't think we actually reviewed it because one of my inspirational pieces for that conversation was this article by or white paper by MIT. And MIT are in the process of basically what they do is they spin up two LLMs next to each other. And the first one's like the kind of main one that's responding to questions. And when it feels that it doesn't know enough about the subject, it will take what it does know and it will use that as training data to then infer, because, you know, it's all inference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Additional sets of data. it will then generate a training file for itself, which it will run on the second model as a training operation. Once that training is complete, it then merges that new knowledge into itself. So this is AI teaching AI itself. The theory behind it goes that this is kind of what humans do, right? You recognize that you don't know enough about a subject, you go find new information. So what the AI was basically doing is it would go and like do a Google search or something, it would infer from that training set, and then it would use that to bake in new knowledge. And so therefore you get this kind of ability from AI effectively to self-learn.
I mean,
and
how?
they reckon MIT reckon that this could be the final stage to us actually getting to a functional AGI, and then beyond that up into ASI territory.
Is that like currently controlled? Is there like a limit? Because when enough is enough, you know what I mean? When it comes to learning more and more.
Never. There's no end to this hungry beast.
If I said to you, right, for the rest of your life, you're not allowed to learn anything else. You're just going to reuse the skill set you already have, reuse the knowledge that you have. You're not allowed to like improve in any way, shape, or form. But here's a salary for what you currently do. And because you're not improving, your salary's never going to improve. Would you be like, yeah, that's a good deal?
True.
Because I think that that's what they're doing with AI, is they're basically saying, well, we've got this thing. It's like a base level of usefulness. You know, it's the equivalent of a junior programmer today. And what we want is a junior programmer that can self-learn how to be a senior programmer when we invite it into our organization. And this is what they're, it's crazy.
People keep forgetting the part that AI just can't come up with genuine ideas. Like all of its ideas is a combination of other ideas, right? Like think about it. How many years of training would you have AI go through before it can come up with one scenario for the first movie of Star Wars, right? It wouldn't even think about coming with this idea of like the Jedi Master, whatever. It wouldn't. And I don't think a lot of people really understand that. They think it's actually innovating, but it's not. It's reproducing content that has already been fed, which is content that was generated by human genius, human ingenuity, right? So Carlos says if they're still training on Google search results, they're essentially training AI with AI, because that's all Google is. I guess essentially. I mean, I mean, how hard is it to spin up an MCP server that has an API call on the back end that you send it stuff and it gets you back content that you can understand? Like anybody today can do that. MCP servers are easy.
It's funny you mentioned that. Didn't you do a video on that?
We did exactly a POC and a discussion on that, Paul. So, you know, that's the thing. Like, there will be a point in time where truly genuine content is gonna be like, let me ask you this: how expensive is it today to buy a shirt that was just produced in a factory? You could find shirts for $12, right? But if that shirt was actually knitted and done by hand, immediately it goes to $100, $120, $300. That's gonna be the difference. It's gonna be like manufactured, factored content, pre-packaged content, like spam. I hate spam. It makes me want to throw up, right? Versus someone who actually got the chicken, cooked the chicken, roasted the chicken, made you actual food at home. That's gonna be the difference. And the future is going to be interesting. The one
I
thing,
don't know. A dead chicken's a dead chicken, whether a robot or a human killed it, right? Surely.
but spam, dude. Even my cat doesn't want to eat spam. Like I give spam to my cat, and my cat's like, "What is this garbage? This is garbage. This is chicken fingers. This is chicken nails. That's what it is, right?" So
you got a privileged cat. Mine will eat anything. It eats its own puke, for God's sake.
Okay.
Mine doesn't care. It's like, that looks edible. It's a furball. I'll have it. Then 5 minutes later, it's like, that looks edible. I just brought that up.
the most ridiculous thing that I keep hearing is that, oh, AI is gonna take software engineering jobs away. I don't think really software engineers, like if you're like entry level junior doing, like if your stuff is measurable and you're doing the same thing, yeah, AI is gonna automate your butt. Of course it will, right? But just look at this session that we just had right now. We're playing based on a set of rules, right? But we still are looking at the screen and saying, doesn't look right. Maybe we need to adjust it a little bit. How it feels and how it tastes like what you're actually building, AI would never understand that. If any of you remember the movie The Matrix, right? You know, the movie literally came out before some of us here were born, without pointing fingers. You know, in the movie itself, the guy is telling him, I can tell the machine that rice tastes like chicken, and it wouldn't know the difference because it doesn't know what taste is. It doesn't have taste buds, right? It doesn't understand what that means, right? Tasty wheat. Tasty wheat is what he was saying in the movie. Okay, so let's wrap this. Next session, we're gonna architect, you know, the content piece, right? We're gonna sit down and kind of put together the architecture and discuss that. I will let the build happen. It's still running in the background. Maybe Mr. Hayes, who has had his account hacked for some reason, he went crazy in the Discord server. I hope he's all right. Hopefully, you know, he can kind of review this PR and, you know, give us some feedback. One last thing from Mohi, just wondering how spicy a food recipe would be when we have an yeah, exactly, exactly. How would it know? It doesn't know, right? It's about the you guys really got to watch the session with Paul on the future of thinking, because there's some stuff that we brought up in there that talks about, like, if what you do is measurable, and then it's automatable. Your KPIs are actually what's killing your craft and career. But if what you do has a sense of taste and how it feels like and how it looks like, you know, Zafar, how when we look at the code and we say, it doesn't look readable, it doesn't seem right, right?
Yeah.
You can't automate this. You can't automate taste. It's very hard. If you tell AI, upload a picture to AI, upload any picture to AI today, right? And tell it, is this beautiful? The answer will be the most systematic, robotic toaster answer you ever get. Well, beauty is relative, and some people might see this beautiful, but it doesn't have an opinion on its own. It just doesn't know that.
Or it might agree to everything you say.
Oh yeah, it's super sycophant. Yeah,
Oh
AI right
yeah.
now. Oh, you're right. I should correct myself. I apologize. The sun does rotate around the earth, not the other way around. You're absolutely right. So
Give
anyway,
it time. It'll identify as having gotten the answer right and being correct.
probably. But AI
And
on AI and
you'd be
AI
bigoted
generating AI is wild.
to question it.
Yep, it's true. Anything that's content today is subject and a target for AI. I'm telling you this right now. Let me ask you all this. We've already done this before. We just talked about Entity Framework, right? We used to have a full position, a full-time paid position with benefits and a 401k called database administrator. And that guy used to literally do what EF Core does today in seconds. You had to be nice to this guy. Usually his name is Bill or William. And you would go to him and basically tell him, hey, I have a database schema and here's all the properties that I want. And they would ask you some silly questions, and they're usually just eating a squirrel at their desk for some reason. And you know, they would literally bother you and take a whole week just to spin up a database table for you, right? And now EF Core is generating that, right? So is AI going to come for similar things? Absolutely, 100% it will, right? But the reality of the situation is, when it comes to taste, Bill had no taste. Again, he was eating a squirrel at his desk at work, right? Bill is not a real person, right? Anyway, Mohi says AI always responding with a confident tone. That's right. So the other side thinks the answer is convincing. That's right. And a lot of people believe it, right?
Mhm.
I usually think of it just like a more smart text rewriting tool. Yeah, it is. It's a
Yeah.
glorified autocomplete machine, right? I mean, people will tell you about all the, oh, there's a if you look at like the actual books that talk about the strategies, they'll talk about an attention strategy started with bag of words, which is like a hash map with a bunch of numbers and values, right? And then it got a little bit smarter, but at the end of the day, it's really just thinking, what's the very next word, what's the very next frame, what's the very next tone that is more likely to come after that particular one that I'm on right now. And it starts random, and then it starts to kind of measure the weights. Like all the books are talking about this. All of them talk about the exact same strategy, right? Is this how we think as humans? I mean, the people who quit on their creative side of them do live like that, and these people are going to get phased out of the workforce so fast. But people who still employ creativity, like the standard itself is all about creativity. That's in the standard, it says it needs to look beautiful. Code needs to look beautiful. AI doesn't know how to do that. AI does not and will not and will ever know. When I say there's a method with a Billy, right? How does AI understand that? It doesn't, right? All right. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out today. It's been a great session. Good 1 hour, 45 minutes. It looks like our PR has already finished the build. We'll just wait for Mr. Gregory Hayes when he watches this to kind of give us an approval. I appreciate you all. Thank you all so much. I'll see you next week. Take care.